Hello and welcome to Eye on Oakland. I'm Chuck Moss, your host. Got a great show coming up. We have George Dilgard, who is former mayor, former city commissioner, current, I believe, secretary of NEXT, which is the Birmingham Senior Citizen Organization. What's next for NEXT? Let's get started. I got a question for you. Welcome to the show, first of all.
Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning. So real quick, what is NEXT?
NEXT is the senior organization providing services in Birmingham and also surrounding communities, Beverly Hills, Bingham Farms, and Franklin. It was established in 1978 and for the last 30 years has been at Midvale providing services. We have, first of all, you start off with pickleball. We have a gym there, but we have cards, very popular bridge. You go there on a Friday afternoon. Around noon, you have 60, 70 people playing bridge and other card games. We have lectures, health clinics, book study groups, the whole range of things and services for people.
Very large. The only problem, of course, is that it's at Midvale, which is a baby boom era elementary school, and the drinking fountains are all down there.
Yes, it is. And so, as you know, the school has, and the Birmingham Schools has generously provided Midvale at no cost and a real benefit to the
no cost.
At no cost to the citizens of Birmingham. So I was doing some analysis recently, and over the last 30 years, if you take the fair market value of that property, it's about $300,000 a year, and so for 30 years, that works out to what, $9 million that Birmingham Schools has provided as a benefit. To
I
the
did not know
seniors.
that. I did not know that.
Very few people know that, and so the bottom line is that Birmingham Schools needs Midvale for expanding their early childhood programs, and so May of 27 is the date when NEXT needs to move from that location.
So real quick, what's going on with the old Birmingham Y, the city government, the YMCA of Metro Detroit, and NEXT? What's happening?
Well, first of all, let's just back up a little bit. I was here in January, but let's go back just briefly where we are.
Where are we at?
2 years ago, the city bought the Y property on Lincoln in Birmingham. That building's been there for almost 70 years. And thinking at the time the building was going to be used for NEXT and community uses and renovated, but that proved to be unrealistic. And then the city hired an architect, an engineering firm, and decided after thorough evaluation that the building is functionally obsolete and needs to be torn down and a new building. So that's where we are. And then we hired architect Newman Smith, excellent firm, in December of last year, and have come up with plans for the building. And the city commission evaluated the situation, and they actually wanted to include the Y going forward again, and why instead of leaving Birmingham would like to stay. And so the building has evolved, and now it's reached a really good point as far as the design of the building. And since January, just a couple things. One, in February of this year, the program concept was approved by the City Commission for the Y, the use of the building, Y, community use, and NEXT.
So let me make sure I understand. Is that okay? You have NEXT. Before that was it Birmingham Seniors or whatever it's called? Is at Midvale. It's been that for 30 years. It costs $300,000 a year for the school board to provide it to NEXT, which they have done for free.
We had to go out and rent that space, and they provide all
Right.
the operating, cover all the operating expenses for the building.
So, okay, school needs the building. School has said, all right, that's enough. Out you go. We got to have it. Deadline is what?
May of 27.
May of 27. Next, got to find a home. Number one. Number two, city bought the building of the Y. The Y decides you're going to leave Birmingham, consolidate in Royal Oak, and they're out of Birmingham, and so the city's got the building. And now they're trying to figure out what to go. The YMCA has decided, well, maybe we weren't so hasty. We maybe want to come back in. So you're trying to balance the NEXT and the seniors, the YMCA, the city owning it, And that's kind of what's going on right now. And you have a plan and a program that has been an architectural proposal, correct?
Correct.
All right. So what's the proposed arrangement with city next, like three corners here, city next, and the Metro YMCA? Who pays what? Who owns what? Who rents? How does that work?
City owns the building. The tenants would be Next, providing senior services, Y, providing recreational and other functions, and then community space as well.
And who?
And then as far as the operating expense, the Y isn't putting money up front into the building as far as capital, but they are going to cover all the operating expenses of the building for, the lease is going to be, the agreement's going to be for about 20 years. They cover all that expense, including the community portion, next portion, for example.
So the building would be owned, the building is owned by the city of Birmingham. Next would be a tenant, essentially, and the Y would be a tenant.
Yes.
And the Y is going to cover all the operating expenses per year. Okay. And it's always nice to know who's going to pay for it. So the current plan, it's for a community center, right? I mean, you can't call it a senior center because it's not just seniors.
Well, it's a the formal name is Community and Senior Center. That's the program name.
Yes, and you have and you have an actual architectural proposal. You do. And unfortunately, we can't put it up, but you can find that on the Next website. What is the Next website?
Just go to Next.
Next.com?
Yeah, Google Next.
Google
But
it.
also, I'd like to point out that the city, and unfortunately, the city has tried in a lot of different ways to communicate this to the public, but in talking to people around town, it's amazing how uninformed people are.
Well, people don't hear it, but you can see it here on the show. So
the,
what is it you want
but
people to
so
do?
if people go to the city website and just punch in, actually it shows on the front landing page, the Community and Senior Center. You go to that location on the website and it has, for example, 13 frequently asked questions and answers to those questions. And I think a lot of people, if they just did that part, they would understand the program and the benefits much better. Plus, there's additional information on their the background and links to different meetings and whatever happened. And I was telling the city manager, and they're going to put in the schematic designs that have been finalized by Newman Smith, so people can actually see what the building's going to look like on the exterior, how it fits. It abuts right next to St. James Park, so it's going to be a beautiful layout for the city.
So if anybody is interested, and everybody should be interested, if you live in Birmingham, because you're going to pay for it, and if you live in Bingham, Beverly, or the other areas in this viewing area, you're going to be maybe paying for it too, or at the very least involved in it. You go to the City of Birmingham's website, City of Birmingham MI, because you don't want to go to the Alabama one. I've been put there more often. You go to the City of Birmingham's website, and you will find answers to most of the questions.
Yeah, a lot of those questions, sure.
Excellent, excellent. Now, understand that there was a proposed millage vote. It was going to be funded by a millage, correct? What is that? What's that all about?
You're talking about the funding, the bond issue?
Yeah. It's going to be a bond issue. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, what do I know?
So the plan is I should mention how the costs have come in. So what we did is we hired Clark Construction a number of months ago, one of the premier companies in the state. They're actually doing Oakland Hills. That just shows you
okay.
their reputation.
All right, I'm
and how
impressed.
good they are.
I'm instantly impressed.
Yeah, you have to be.
I'm instantly
So anyway, so they came up with a cost estimate, and before we were working about a year ago, thinking it would be about $32 million for about a 48,000 square foot building. So the costs came in about last month. It came in higher at $37 million for the building, at about 49,000 square feet.
Okay.
So a little bit higher than expected, and there were reasons for that. One is just the escalation and the tariff situation, so they put in some contingencies for that. The pool, there's going to be a 5-lane pool in the new building.
Is that okay? I'm thinking. Okay, I was both a lifeguard and taught swimming at the Y for about 22 years, so I know that pool really well. It currently is 4 lanes, 5 lanes.
I think it's 4 today.
Okay.
Or maybe if you squeeze it 5.
Yeah, it depends where you put those lane lines. You know,
Right.
you gotta have those circle swimming going. So, gotta have a pool, and that's. Trying to think about what else. I know that building, there always used to be people using it for basketball, using it for other classes. So, but what year? It was built like in was
1959.
59.
With 3 additions since.
I was going to say 58. So that's good. There's still the picture of Engine Charlie Wilson, who was was a head of GM when they built it in the lobby.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he was
Missed
Secretary
that.
of Defense under Ike Eisenhower. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, we're dating the building a little, aren't we?
Yeah, very old building, and
Quite.
It's past prime time for sure.
Well, hopefully it's not as old as I am, but maybe it's it's not the it's the mileage.
Yeah, so,
Anyway,
so importantly, so it's $5 million more, but an important point I've mentioned at a number of city commission meetings, the cost per average cost per household is actually less than it was last year, even though the building is more. Taxable values have gone up, so it was calculated. So last October, the average cost was going to be $212 per average household in Birmingham. With the even with the increased costs, it's going to be less. It's going to be $196 for the average household. So not a whole lot of money for great value in the city.
such a deal. Yeah. Well, for seniors, I mean, look. I am obviously a senior now. I'm not going to lie about that. But I also have a little year-and-a-half-old grandson, and the idea of being able to take him to the pool and have him have swimming lessons, that is a good idea too.
Yeah, my neighbor has fond memories. He's about my age, and he learned how to swim in that pool.
Did I teach him? Maybe not. If he's your age, that's when I was probably back in middle.
Fond memories, and it's just one of the many benefits to having it all ages. It's evolved from a senior center into a total all ages.
I like that.
For the campaign, actually, I was thinking a good way to boil it down is one place for all ages.
One place for all ages. Hey,
Not bad, huh?
That's not bad.
Yeah, it covers
you should,
what we're trying to accomplish here.
Gee, you'd think you'd run for office once or twice before.
I'm done.
Well, I think, who knows? But so what you're talking about is so essentially where we're at right now, the YMCA went out of the building, the city bought it, want to turn it into a community center. Next is involved. The YMCA may be involved, and we'll get into that more in the next segment. And now there's a millage. It's all kind of coming together, but it hasn't quite. The cake has not been put in the oven yet to bake.
Right. So we had a bump. At the May 5th meeting, just recently.
Well, let's
You wanna
hold
get
that.
into that.
Yeah,
or
let's hold
later?
that thought because we're going to take a break here, and then we'll come
Okay.
right back and get into where we're at right now. We're talking about what's next for Next and the Birmingham Community Center, Old Y. I'm Chuck Moss, talking to George Dilgard, Secretary of Next and former Birmingham Mayor. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on Eye on Oakland. Hello and welcome back to Eye on Oakland. I'm Chuck Moss, your host. We're talking with George Dilgard, former mayor of Birmingham, city commissioner, and now the secretary of Next, the Birmingham senior organization. And we are talking about what is going on with the Birmingham Y, possible millage, bond proposal. Well, it's a millage to support a bond. What's going on? We've got a kind of a great background as to what's happening with the building. And very quickly, the Y. Is the Y in? Is the Y out? Let's say this. There was a plan. There was a proposal. And the city commission on Monday, May 5th, voted no. They voted to pause it. But that's pause, right? Not kill.
Yeah, it came out of the blue. The mayor, and I don't know, she gave some reasons, but it came as a shock to the city manager and to the public to put a pause. And some of the reasons or excuses, wherever want to say, the economics or.
Hey, I've sat on that table and come up with some of them myself, so believe me. In other words, they're probably getting flack from people and don't want to do it.
Well, there's some flack from like some of the streets in Birmingham, like the latest is Wilmington. People are up in arms about the cost, but anyway, this is really a project that has to move forward. The time is right, and so I think it was on the agenda to be an August vote. I think the city commission should have just said, okay, let's do the November vote and come back the next meeting here in May, and let's focus and run a campaign to really inform the public about the benefits of this new center.
So the city commission voted to pause. Okay, you need to vote to put the millage on the ballot to maybe pass. If it passes, that's the money for the bond issue, where you get the money to proceed with the project. So without the bond issue, without the vote for the millage, you don't have the project because you don't have the money.
Right. So I met with the city manager on Friday to clarify some of these items. And her intent is to bring back the proposal July 14th meeting, be a July 14th meeting for the city commission, and then hopefully at that time decide on a November bond vote and move things ahead.
So when the city commission voted, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, excuse me. And the key is to make that November election. It has to be approved by, and the bond language has to be to the Oakland County by August 13th.
Okay, that was going to be a question.
That's the critical date.
That's your drop dead date.
Exactly.
Drop dead date is August 13th if it's going to be on the November vote.
But we're, to me, wasting time on this to inform the public. We're losing a couple months here where we could be actually informing the public on this project and just the benefits of it. And then the alternative, a couple of things to circle back. I know we don't have too much time.
We've got plenty. We're doing fine.
Circle back with, you were asking about the Y situation.
Yes.
And Parrish Underwood, who's the president of the Detroit YMCA, put out a letter April 16th to clarify the position of the Y in Birmingham. And basically the letter stated that without a new building, the Y operations in Birmingham will cease.
Okay.
It's just not practical for a lot of different reasons. And so if we don't pass this bond in November, eventually
the Y's out of Birmingham.
Exactly. And there were some people hanging on to the idea that, maybe they could still use part of the old building, and et cetera, even though it's owned by the city. But anyway, Parrish made it very clear, no new building, no Y in Birmingham.
So my question has to be, the Y sold the building. They were getting out of Birmingham anyway. Why did they come back? Rumor is, on the street is that their project in Royal Oak kind of fell apart, so they, want to kind of go back to the way it used to be. So the Y has an interest in staying in Birmingham, and they haven't said, go away, have they? Other than that, they have.
They really want to stay in Birmingham, and Parrish has a deep love for Birmingham, and it's been so popular. The Blue Dolphins or swim club, and so many benefits in the summer camp. Like my next door neighbor, their daughter, 8 years old, is going to be in summer camp at the Y. Just so many benefits to having them involved.
I taught swimming for 22 years at the Birmingham Y, so believe me, my sympathies are with the Y. But as a citizen of the city, it's got to work out for the city as well. Now, so the city commission right now, the roadblock, if you will, is the city commission voting to put the millage on the ballot. What has anybody given you any reason, or do they have a list of objections or things that you have? If you do A, B, and C, we might vote. Have you gotten any indication?
You have a mix on the commission, and
Always
so
does.
yeah, so you have strong supporters, and you have some that have other priorities like streets or whatever. So really, I don't see any strong reasons why all people wouldn't be supporting this project. And we've had uncertain economic times before. I was looking back to the Parks bond in Birmingham in 2020. Remember COVID and the recession and tough time? So in the summer of July of 20, the commission voted 4-3 to put the bond issue on the November ballot. And it passed with 70% support in the community.
Well, weren't you on the commission in 2008, 2009?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys kept moving forward. And that, believe me, you want to call this a recession.
Yeah,
that was the
financial meltdown. For example, we moved ahead with Shane Park with the major redo of Shane Park in 2009, 10.
Those times were far more uncertain than now.
Yeah. So when you're on the commission, you got to make the decisions, and projects bubble up, and when it's prime time, you make the decision, you do it. And in a long time, for example, this project, in 20 years, the bond will be paid off, and we're going to have a great asset that's going to be there in operations for 50, 60 years.
Well, the city's senior facilities in cities and communities are a major asset. I mean, I'll just point out, we're in Bloomfield Township, obviously, doing the Bloomfield community. Just across the street is Bloomfield Seniors and the Bloomfield Senior facility. Great asset for the township. You want to go on up to Rochester to the OPC, that is the platinum standard. So these are major assets.
For example, the mayor, Brian Barnett of
Yes.
Rochester Hills, as you know well, he spoke to the Birmingham Senior Men's Club a couple months ago.
Yes, he did.
And he was saying the OPC Senior Center there is a major driver on why people want to live in Rochester Hills.
Well, it is an undeniable fact that the population is getting older. Although hopefully we're getting a baby boomlet coming. But
I did a little more research, and I was looking at how deficient the funding of seniors in Birmingham has been over the years. And you realize that the city only provides $125,000 a year to NEX for senior services. That works out to 0.03 mils for seniors in Birmingham. And you know what it is in Bloomfield Township?
Let's hear it.
0.33 mils. So Birmingham millage is a tenth of what it is in Bloomfield Township, providing senior services.
Now, Bloomfield
We
Township.
have a ways to go in Birmingham.
Well, the township has a dedicated millage for seniors, not just for the senior event, but for seniors in general. And the township has funded itself, has funded a lot of things through its own votes. So, yeah, well,
we have
it is
ways to go in Birmingham, don't we?
Yes. It's definitely definitely there. So my question is, the city did not say no. They didn't say yet, but they do have a August 15th drop deadline. Mm-hmm. So what steps do you think are going to be taken or need to be taken to move this project forward, if indeed the city commission wants to do it? Because they may not want to do it. This may just be a motion to punt.
Well, I hope not. As I said, it comes back on the agenda July 14th. The Newman Smith, by the end of May, will have the internal renderings done as well. So one of the unfortunate things at that May 5th meeting is the public wasn't given the opportunity to see the designs of the new building.
Uh-huh.
So I think once people see how it's going to look and operate, they'll be very positive about the project.
Well, the city manager apparently wants to bring this back to the table.
And for example, I was thinking this morning, the city manager, and as you and I know, when we're in the commission, we defer when it comes to budget issues to the city manager. Remember those April budget meetings?
I certainly do.
Okay, well, hardly ever is there a change in the budget, and the city manager strongly supports this project.
But you still got to get
And
4 votes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying financially, it's doable. I circle back to the average cost, $196 a year.
Uh-huh.
Average homeowner.
So what
in
are the
Birmingham.
options now? You got A, approve the plan on the table, or what's B?
Okay, B stands for, in my opinion, bad.
Yeah.
Bad. So B, if we don't get this passed in November, the Y will be leaving Birmingham. No swimming, no recreational services, etc. And for next, we would have to move into a partially renovated old Y building, 70 years old, first floor only, spend millions of dollars. I've heard estimates from $4 to $8 million, and the basement and the second floor would be abandoned. They wouldn't actually be used. They're ADA non-compliant. There's no elevator.
That's
the
where the
second
locker
floor.
room is for the pool, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me,
And the steam room.
yeah, so it's not a good option, Plan B.
Uh-huh.
So move in move into the first floor, somehow make the Y building operational
So
for
what's your prediction, real quick, because we're going to run out of time? What do you think? I mean, are they going to vote yay? Are they going to vote nay? What do you think?
I am being positive, and I think it's a great program, and I think they'll put it on the ballot, and I think the public should be able to vote on this project come November.
Well, this is an election year. You got 3 out of 4 that are up, and you got 1 vacancy because
Katie's not running.
Katie's not running, and Elaine. So you have a recently appointed person. Well, I would hope that
Jason's running. He's excellent.
all 3 candidates should be quizzed on their position on this
So
issue.
should.
And this could be the most crucial issue facing the city right now. That and what the heck's going on with the community house. Everything else seems to be going very nicely. I would hope that whether you're pro or con, your advice is get over to the city website, look at the questions, look at the plan, and if anybody has any questions, who did they call next? Who do they call?
Call the city, call next. Yeah,
Call their city commissioners.
sure.
You do that anyway.
Yeah, call them too. Yeah. Send emails to the city commission. Encourage they need to get feedback from the public, so send your emails to the city commission.
But try to be polite if you can.
And-
Just speaking from experience.
And Chuck, just to finish, one place for all ages.
One place for all ages. That's a nice phrase. Yeah. Well, I've got a little grandson. I got me. It'd be nice to be able to use them in Birmingham.
The whole range.
The whole
range of ages.
Well, I appreciate your talking to us. George Dilgard, former Birmingham mayor, city commissioner, and the secretary of Birmingham Next on what's next for next. And get the information and call your elected representatives and make the decision for yourself. Well, thank you all for joining us here as we talk about this issue, maybe one of the most important issues facing the city. And once again, thank you all, and we'll see you around here on Eye on Oakland.